Oh, hi. It's me, Lou. I'm in the car, as usual. I can't see with either of these things. Without them, with them, doesn't matter. I'm blind. Not literally. Apologies to those people who are blind. Yeah, back in the car. It's true. I'm sitting here in the car, as I always am on Tuesdays. I didn't have to do it this morning, so that's why there was no morning broadcast of the show from the car. We were able to find a Wednesday spot on Sunday because they're shooting some kind of a movie a block away from my house, and they were taking up a lot of parking spaces. So I did not move it today in the morning. So anyway, we were losing a lot of parking spaces, and when they do shoot a lot of movies in the neighborhood, people aggressively park super early in the morning, so we wanted to avoid that. It's all good. Hello to you, Frank. I hope that you are enjoying yourself. If you're not watching anymore, I don't know. Can come and chat with me if you like. There's one person watching me. I don't know who they are. So I'm in the car, hanging out. What's been going on? Been doing a lot of baseball. It's baseball season again. Doing a lot of Little League, a lot of pitching, stuff like that. It's been fun. This last weekend we had two games that started Saturday and Sunday that started at 8 o'clock in the morning. Game time is 8:45, but we were starting at 8 for warm-ups and stuff like that. It was too early for baseball to start, but they were good games regardless. Close, lots of fun, lots of screaming, lots of angry parents on both sides. I'm glad I'm not a referee or an ump because holy moly, what a nightmare. I will say the first ump we had on Saturday was way better than the second ump, who was making crazy nonsense calls and had to be corrected by the coaches frequently. But yeah, it was good times. And what's new with you? Anything? I don't know. What was I going to say? I started watching Aggretsuko, the Japanese Sanrio-based Netflix show. I don't think it's really Japanese, but the Sanrio-based Netflix show about the Red Panda, who's also into heavy metal and sings songs about rage that are pretty funny. It's not a great show. It's funny enough. The basic premise is that this red panda keeps getting into weird situations and then becomes enraged by some sort of social insult or workplace misunderstanding, and then she will descend into sort of a rage state and then start singing heavy metal songs. Normally, she actually sings by herself in the bathroom or at home or at a karaoke place by herself, but occasionally the heavy metal side of her comes out and she is able to express herself in a way that she normally would not, because she is represented as a sort of a Japanese office worker who's sort of very meek and mild, and the boss is a literal pig who's also a chauvinist pig. I watched a couple episodes today. It was entertaining. I made a bunch of good GIFs of some of the rage moments of the show. They're pretty funny. But beyond that, not a ton is going on. I'm just hanging out in my car and being, saddish about it. Let's see. I'll show you a drawing I made. Let's see. When's the last time? I showed drawings recently. I showed drawings last time I was in the car. But since then, I think I made this drawing. Let's see. I think if you follow me on Instagram, and you should, because I made this one, the two people sleeping on each other, and then I made this one, this sort of like lady looking at her phone, and then I made this one, which is a bunch of people sleeping on the train, and then I made this one, and that one, and then this one, and this is the guy sleeping on the window. I think I posted that one 2 times ago. And then I made this one, which is the same guy as the last one, but he moved his head. And then this one of a guy, and then this one of a lady, and I didn't like that one. And then I made this one of this lady. And the funny thing about this lady was that my note here is opening her eyes to check out the guy talking about crackers. And so there was a dude on the train who was just talking to other African American people on the train and just going on and on about crackers. White devil, the crackers, they think this, they do that, they think this. And she kept being like, okay, eyes closed. And he'd be like, I know you're paying attention, sister. These crackers on this train, they don't know. Da, 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 da. You know, and I was just like, oh man, he's talking about crackers. But then when he got off the train, she was just like, holy moly, what's wrong with that guy? So that was a fun thing. And then I do this guy this morning. Ooh, he was asleep. And then I tried to draw this guy, but it didn't really work out. And then a lot of half drawings. A lot of people moving around today. You know, like this guy's asleep and then he woke up. This lady was asleep, but she was behind some stuff in the train, so I couldn't really see her face and whatnot. But yeah, what are you gonna do, Snook City? Beep. Oh, when I was going to the doctor today, Monday, I walked by the new MedMen store. Now, MedMen is a medical marijuana company. I don't know where they're based out of, neither here nor there, but they have locations in the major places that have legal marijuana, like California, Nevada. They have medical marijuana places they have medical marijuana stores in other places. And I was walking to my therapist's office, and I was just like, what, the MedMen here? So they're opening up a really big MedMen store, and it's probably like the first medical marijuana dispensary I've seen here in New York. Famously, the medical marijuana industry here has been sort of crippled by the fact that, the governor's kind of a giant pussy when it comes to weed, and so like they passed this weed law and then made it so like there are a really narrow band of like terminal illnesses that you could qualify to get it, and they've expanded it a little bit, but it's nowhere near, say, California, Nevada, Colorado, places where they've either legalized or they have a very wide gamut of qualifying conditions. So anyway, New York has sort of shitty things, and they make it so you can't smoke it here. It has to be edible, or some sort of like a balm or a tincture, that kind of thing. So it's interesting that they're getting into the game, because if they're getting into the game, they must feel like it's either going to go legal here or it's going to go wider spectrum medical, because from what I read, the medical marijuana places that are in New York are all like, we're going broke because there's not enough patients, because Now here's the thing, the terminal thing, we all have a condition, and the condition is called life, and one day we're going to die. So we're all terminal to some degree. So why not let people have the weed? You know what I'm saying? 420, what? But yeah, I mean, it's interesting. And then I looked, just because I was like, that store, it's still kind of being constructed, and it looked like they were just putting it together. And I was like, I wonder if they're hiring. And they are. Now, when I was in Venice, California, Venice Beach, I went to a MedMen store, and everyone there was very professional, even if they had a gajillion face piercings and were covered in, body modifications. Yeah, it was perfectly fine and normalized experience. It wasn't like buying weed from a weirdo in Washington Square Park. Not that I've ever done that. Although, is that where the Dell dude, got busted buying weed? Thinking back, roll back your commercial appreciation meters and remember a time when the Dell dude convinced a nation that Dell computers were worth buying. Dude, you're getting a Dell. It was up there with the whole Gateway Cow thing, where you were like, oh, look at that computer, that Gateway computer. I built my computer, and it comes in a box, and it's so great. It comes in a box that's painted like a cow. Why wouldn't I buy that computer? Oh, I'm getting a Dell? Super great. And then the Dell dude, who was like, at that point, he must have been in like 3 years worth of Dell commercials, gets busted buying weed here in New York, and Dell is just like, hot rock, woo! Get out of here, Dell dude. We're going to find some other dumb way to sell computers. Sad times for the Dell dude. I wonder what happened to the Dell dude. I bet he's out there. Let's see. Are these? Nope. I was going to say, are these Ace's friends? They're not. They're weird. These are weird young adults. Who I don't know. Let's see what else. I hung out with my cousin Amanda last night, and Alex Hestoft, and Miranda, Alex's lady friend, and then a lady whose name I think was Moira, who was a friend of Amanda's. And we talked, and Amanda was in town from Columbia to hang out at the UN for some sort of panel discussion. It was nice to catch up. And, you know, like they live in all these crazy places, and I've never gone to visit them. And I would like to go to Columbia, but I'm broke. Because I had 2 kids instead of just not having kids and saving all my money. Yeah, one of these days they'll go to a place that I can be like, oh, that's affordable. They should go to, like, the Bahamas or Bermuda or a safer part of Mexico. But now they live in Colombia. Although I hear it's very, comparatively to when I was growing up, and it was terrifying, that it's a safe place to be now. Although there are some cities that are still sort of under the sway of the narco traffickers and things like that. So, don't get me wrong, it's not 100% safe. But, you could do worse. You could go to Venezuela, which is in a huge food and all kinds of crisis thing. Let's see, what else has been going on? Last week was 420. I did not celebrate. I've started doing voiceovers, recordings, auditions again. So, hopefully, random people out there in the internet will be like, I like this guy's voice. I would like him to help sell my widget. So far I've done 4 auditions. 1 audition I placed second with one other dude. And then 1 audition I got 2 stars. And was like rated like 12th with 16 other people. This is the joy of show business, as one would say. I regret stopping doing the voiceover attempts in the past. I think I've gotten a lot better at the recording and the editing to make it not such a torture to do, but at the same time, it is a torture to do it. And when I was in NAB in Vegas, the show in Vegas, I met some people from a company that makes a piece of software that's like this crazy machine learning AI thing that can totally remove all the problems from your voice tracks that I have, like, the mouth clicks and the breaths and the, tooth whistles and all these other weird sounds that your mouth makes when you are recording that you would never notice in your day-to-day talking. When I'm recording, and this happens to me where I'm recording the podcast or auditions for voiceover stuff is that I'll get this like whistle th sound or F sound where it'll be like this horrible sound. To me, it sounds awful, and I can't not hear it. And so I'm always like redoing takes because I'll be saying like, the French flag flies, and then when I listen back, it'll be like the freep, 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 like just horrible. There's like some air that shoots through a tooth and makes a crazy high-pitched whistle. It's not something you would notice on your day-to-day chatting with a person. But when you are listening to your own voice while you're recording it, you totally are like, oh, that sound. And sometimes THs are like, instead of. So it's you knew what a TH sounded like. I'm sorry if I felt that was condescending. But, so I found this software out in Las Vegas that takes care of that. It's $300. But at least it's a fixed price and not a subscription, which is something I despise. I hate paying a monthly fee for software. And I get that the software, that paying the fee allows the company to keep making money and put that money back into development. I get it. I just don't like it. I don't like paying that much. Has anyone renegotiated their cable bill? I need to do that because my cable bill, I like got rid of a bunch of services and whatever, and I got it down to like close to $100 a month, and then they switched to Spectrum bought out Time Warner, and it's like creeping. Every couple of months it goes up, and I'm just like, y'all are some big jerks for doing that, because it is not cool at all. So there's a Spectrum place right by my office, so I should just go in and be like, I want to renegotiate my bill because it's too high. But we cut the cord for a while back before I got this job. So 5 years ago, we were just getting like the basic cable that comes in no matter what, until Spectrum switched to an all-digital signal that TVs couldn't read, so that you need to buy their like little digital converter box for $1 a month, which I refused to do. And then, then it was just like all torrenting all the time for movies and TV, which sucked because it's just a pain in the ass to do that. And you got to, at certain sites, you got to maintain a ratio of how much you're uploading, and then VPNs and all that. But now, I got this job, and then I was like, I can write off my cable bill because it's working in television and all that other stuff, and it's still just too much money. I don't want to pay $1,600 a year to watch fucking reality television and other garbage. No thanks. But yeah, more people keep saying they're cutting the cord, but then what do you do? What do you do for your entertainment? I mean, as it is, most of the time when we put on the movie channels, it's like nothing we want to watch. It's not a great experience. Uh-oh, here comes Ace. Let's see if Ace will sit in the car with me. That'll be funny. That'd be very funny if he does. Bring it down here. Here we go. Hi. It's true. Do you want to come sit in the car with me? No? Are you sure? We just talk. Okay. Well, he said no. He said he was good. He didn't need to sit in the car with me. It's a classic father-son relationship. Oh, there he goes. He's still walking in the background. Yeah. Anyway. Oh, we were having a funny discussion this morning because, I like to imply that Ace listens to all these bands that he hates. And, it's like, what about The Weeknd? And he's like, oh, I hate The Weeknd. There's a kid in my school who loves The Weeknd. He's always like, what do you think about this Weeknd song? Oh, you know who The Weeknd is dating now? And I had to say, based on my experience, which is what parents always try to do, impart your life lessons and whatnot onto your children. But I said, there are too many people in my life timeline where I've been like, oh, I really like Bruce Springsteen. And I'd be like, let me write this person off as a miserable idiot. Or it doesn't matter what the music was, but I would judge them on the music that they listen to. And, just a bad feeling in general to do that in hindsight. Or I remember I was telling him that when I was into ska and reggae, I didn't listen to Bob Marley. I listened to all these other artists, Black Uhuru, Yellow Man, The Upset, or whatever, like just groups. And would go see them or whatever. And then you'd be like, oh, people are like, what kind of music are you into? And I'd be like, oh, ska, reggae. And they'd be like, oh, you like Bob Marley? Oh my God, I love Bob Marley. Exodus, movement of Ja people. And I'd be like, I hate this about you. I hate this about you. Because at the time I was like, super anti marijuana culture. And like, that sort of like, that just sort of hung over reggae like this weed cloud, where I'd be like, yeah, I listen to Yellow Man. And people would be like, oh, I don't know Yellow Man. But do you like Bob Marley? No woman, no cry. Yeah. And then, what was the other thing? I was saying, in hindsight, most of the artists, I didn't really hate the artists. Although, a lot of the music I wasn't crazy about. I didn't hate the music. But what I did was I hated the people who liked the music. Grateful Dead. I just, not into that culture. I used to work with a guy named... Oh, I can't believe I can't remember this. It was something the Fish. And Nick the Fish. And Nick the Fish was a young kid. He was probably 16 when I met him, but like 18 eventually, and like he was so into the band Fish, and he would talk about it all the time, and I'd be like, man, please, I do not care. And there was another young guy. Oh man, I totally forget this guy's name because I found him so irritating. Bye, FedEx truck. Oh, hello. But he used to only play the blues, and he was like 19 years old, and he had ridden across the country on a bicycle, and always wore Birkenstocks, but he only played the blues, and he had like one of those giant CD binders of the blues, and that's we had like a 6 CD changer at work, and he would put it in, and we'd all put in music, and I can remember just being like, I'm gonna burn this fucking blues CD thing, because after a while I kept being like, why as a 19-year-old, and he would talk in a blues voice sometimes, and I'd be like, why are you listening to so much blues? He'd be like, oh, them a blues, blah 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 blah. I'd be like, oh, I didn't realize you're an old black gentleman from the bayou. No wonder you listen to the blues all the time. I wonder if he could get away with that today. And I don't know if he played, I guess he played guitar, and that's, I guess if you like we played a ton of Eric Clapton. Those bad feelings. At the time, I did not enjoy that experience. But I got over it, you can tell. I'm really loving this FedEx truck's exhaust. It is real stinky. Now I've closed my window, and you can tell it's gotten a lot quieter. Anyway, my time in the car is almost up. This is the least watched episode of me sitting and talking to myself in the car. So, I'm glad I can do it when almost no one is watching or commenting, because it is not easy to do. But I did it. I'm the best. Anyhow, thanks for watching. Whenever you watch, you don't have to watch it live. It's more fun if you do, I think. Just because I think it's fun to experience this together. But thanks for watching. And I'm going to go upstairs and try to see what's going on with my fam. Probably going to end up playing some baseball. IRL, not online. Oh! Super Mega Baseball 2 is coming out next month. Download that shit on Xbox so you and I can play it. Got me? We're gonna play, boys. We're gonna play. Ladies and gentlemen, let's play some video games together. Okay. We'll see you soon. My name's Lou. This has been Lou sitting in the car. The Move Back. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.